Hello, everybody. We're live again on day 2 of the free Bite-Sized Masterclass series for people who manage people and teams. So I've got my coffee here with me. I hope you have your coffee, tea, lunch, dinner. Why not? Here we go for the second day. What we're going to talk about today are power poses, body language, and how that influences our mindset. And actually, I'm gonna put this in the spotlight. Here we go. Power poses, body language, and influence on mindset. Yes. So I really hope that you can also see what I'm sharing, because sometimes you know how it is with all of these technologies that we have around us. Well, sometimes they don't work because they need to take a break too. Okay, so if you were here yesterday, well, we discussed about emotional intelligence and mindsetting. So, and if you weren't here yesterday, no worries. You can actually get access to the content that we went through yesterday. You just need to click the link that I'm gonna post in the description of this video, and you're getting all of the resources. So video replays, handouts, workouts, a lot of book and video recommendations. So yesterday we talked about this. Today we're talking about power poses, and we see how body language influences our mindset. And then tomorrow we will be working on breathing and diction exercises to see why, how, and when they help. Because again, remember that why we're doing this is because we are looking at high performance, right? So we are thinking about ourselves as high performing athletes. So we're going through the full cycle of high performance, which is preparation, performance, and recovery. So this is why this week we're doing all of these things, because they are part of preparation. And as I said, preparation is mental, physical, and emotional. So that's why I'm sharing a few tips of how you can prepare on a daily basis. You can also choose to do some of these exercises as your own high performance prep routines. When you think of yourself, and also when you think of your team as high performing athletes, and then everything can change. Because what we do talk about a lot is, yes, how we need to prepare to be ready to get ourselves in shape and get ready, but we don't understand how exactly we can prepare. So that is what we're doing today and tomorrow, and for the rest of the sessions. So quick reminder of yesterday, where we left things off, was mindsetting, and we were saying that mindset is a verb because it's all about the action that we're taking. So it was something like that. For those of you who were here, you will remember. For those of you who weren't here for the session yesterday, this is a good segue into the next segment. So we have a thought, we think about something, and then we feel that thought makes us feel one way or another. And because of how we feel, we have the drive, or maybe not, to take action, to actually do something, right? To get that behavior that gives us the results. And then the results, what we see that we're getting as a result of our actions, is feedback right back to our thoughts. So this is the pattern that we get when we talk about mindsetting. And let me just put this here. Right? So this was yesterday. This is where we left things off yesterday. I'm looking forward to getting your comments and questions, by the way, because we're streaming on I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So whenever you have a question or a suggestion or a comment, please feel free to share. Okay. So this was yesterday, and we said, okay, so if we need to get a different kind of behavior, to do a different kind of action so that we change the result, then what we actually need to do is simply change the thought. And then we said, okay, fine. What if that doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? Well, if that doesn't work, you can still try to change your perspective with power poses. This is why we're discussing power poses today. And let me just share this image right here, and then I will tell you more about it. So this is an image taken from Amy Cuddy at Harvard University. She shared it in, and by the way, I will also share the link to her TED Talk, how our body language shapes your body language may shape your mind. And that was a pretty controversial talk at that time. But what it says a lot about the power of our body language when we communicate. Because, hey, we all know that we actually do say a lot, we communicate a lot without really saying anything. And then if you look at these photos here, think about what they tell you, what these people communicate without saying anything. You just look at them and they communicate. Now, how many times do you look at your team? Doesn't matter, it can be your family. I call it team family too. And that is part of the emotional intelligence and picking up those cues. Well, picking up body language cues, by the way, that's a big, big part of the emotional intelligence. And especially if you're a team leader, team manager, business owner, small business owner, you have a small team, picking up body language cues, that's a lot, because we communicate. And here we do have some communication taking place. And now you can think about your own body posture when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling disappointed, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling ashamed. And think about what happens to the posture, to the body when we feel this way. This is why I like to connect it with mindset, because it really is connected with mindset. So looking at these pictures, you can see that these guys, they communicate that they feel defensive or embarrassed, right? When we feel like that, we try to hide and we minimize the space that we take because we don't really want to be there. And again, for those of you who were here yesterday and we were talking about having the thought that makes us feel something, that makes us do something, well, it's that thought of, you know what, I'm gonna be judged, I'm gonna be exposed, I don't like it being here, I just want to run and hide. And this is what's happening. And look at this lady in the middle. This is a low power pose that says that she needs more protection. And we do that very often when we feel exhausted. And we do this. Also because we try to relax this side, and this side of the body, by the way, is pretty vulnerable, we try to relax it. And we also need extra protection. We also need extra support because we don't have it right in that moment when we're exhausted. And it might also communicate a lack of confidence. Or here, powerless. I feel powerless. I feel hopeless. And again, the body says it all. You don't even need to say it. And shame. Shame is pretty much visible as in this posture very frequently when we just hold our hands and our arms like that. So all of these, if you look at all of these postures, all of these low power poses, they're called low power because we feel powerless, because we feel that we shouldn't be there. We feel like running and hiding away, right? This is the reason why they're called low power poses. And now think about times when you feel sad, when you feel low, when you feel disappointed, and the sad body posture is this. I'm just like, I'm all of my body just goes down and it melts down, and I'm like, we're not communicating at all. When we're sad, we're just looking down. And the reason I say that power poses can help change perspective is because they literally do help change perspective. Think about it. From this power pose, and now look at these high power poses. So we started from looking down and being sad. And now with high power poses, what we get is a different perspective. Because what happens is the body is straight up. We look up, we don't look down. So immediately we see something else. So it's a literal change of perspective because we're not looking down anymore. We're looking up and we see something else, right? So perspective, physical perspective, can be changed with high power poses or with power poses. So think about you, and you can take a look at your posture right now, what it is, and see how that feels, and see whether you would like to change it or not. But let's look at these pictures right here. What do these people communicate now? Well, these people here on the left, they're relaxed and they're confident, right? And sometimes, when I talk to people about it, and sometimes they ask, "Oh, okay, but maybe they're overconfident in this posture right here." Well, sometimes this is also because we're relaxing and we're also imagining things. So think about you when you're in a creative mode or in a creative state of mind, what do? I often see people do this as they say something like, "Oh, you know what? I had an idea. What if we do this?" And they're in this state of, I'm just wondering and I'm just relaxing. I'm holding my head literally. And I'm in this state of, you know what? I'm relaxing and I'm imagining things. So that can be, sometimes people take that for overconfident, but it can be also over relaxed, which is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to creativity. And then the Wonder Woman or the superhero power pose. Now, this is a great power pose to practice before, for instance, you have a presentation, before you have an important meeting. Just take the superhero power pose, because why is it that powerful and why does it give you so much confidence? Because your feet are grounded, because you have a lot of balance, because you take more space, right? In high power poses, in a position with low power poses, we take more space. If low power is this, because I don't want to be there and I don't want to be seen, high power is this. And I want to be seen and I want to communicate and I want to take my space. So this is pretty helpful for whenever you're in a low energy and you need to be in an important meeting in the next 5 minutes. And you can literally shake that old energy off and get some new energy instead. So this is where power poses, I'm not saying this is a fix for everything, but it can be a fix for boosting yourself up, for getting a boost of energy when you need it most and when you don't have it, or when you think there's not enough of it. And these are, again, some other power poses that you can look at, people who are in control and powerful. And you see that sometimes happening in team interactions as well, where somebody feels more powerful and I'm taking my space, and the other party feels they have less power and they minimize the space that they take. And then what usually tends to happen is that the person who feels they're in more power, they overpower the other one because they start taking more and more space. So if you see that happening to you in the face-to-face interactions, especially, that is a signal that if somebody just occupies more and more space in detriment of you, and you start occupying less and less space, then start taking your space back when you're in that conversation. And that is when I talk about assertive communication, we do that a lot. But that is something that you can keep in mind for when you're in these interactions, when you start feeling lower and lower power and your body reacts to that instantly. So what you can do is change your body posture and sit up straight or stand up straight and take your space. And that gives you a different kind of level of confidence and balance. And you immediately state, without saying anything, that, hey, I'm here and we're equals in this conversation. So what this is helpful with, and it's helpful for you to know, is what happens to us actually in low power postures. And maybe you see that in others that you work with, if you see that in the team that you're leading, or you might also notice some of that stuff in yourself sometimes, because we react to different people, to different situations differently. So what low power does, and what low power also communicates, the posture that we have, is we're getting that freeze or flight response. And I was saying in low power, because we feel low energy and we're disappointed, we're sad, we're ashamed, we feel uncomfortable. We don't want to be there. I mean, nobody wants to be in the spotlight where they feel uncomfortable and where they feel ashamed, right? When we're sad or depressed, we don't want to communicate. We live a lot internally. So obviously we will just shut off every communication because we're focused on what goes on internally. And I'm in this energy saving mode when I am in low power, because I can only focus on that much. And I'm focusing on just my survival mechanisms, whatever they are. And I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to communicate. I don't make eye contact. So the whole body posture will be that I'm hiding. Now, what also happens, and now think about low power body postures, or what we do, and I've seen it happening with people answering calls from, let's say, their boss, their direct manager, or somebody in a higher power position, and they see the name displayed on the phone and they immediately think, oh my God. And what this does is that gets you into low power, because it gets you into freeze mode. And it's like, oh my God, what do they want from me? Oh my God, it's them. And then immediately our body posture changes, and it's like something like, oh my God. And I'm just minimizing the space that I take. And then the way I'm going to take the call, the way I'm going to answer the questions, the way I'm going to speak is definitely going to be influenced by this, by my body posture, and by my immediate reaction of freezing when I see that. Now, in high power poses, what we do is we give ourselves more confidence. So, and here we go. And I want to put that here for you to have a comparison and see. In high power, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just taking my space and I'm saying something. And what that does to my immediate thought is, okay, let's answer. And you're getting, first of all, you're sitting up straight, you're feeling in balanced, and this gives you confidence. You're feeling more confident. And what that does is it's going to show in your voice, in the way you speak, and in the way that you behave, basically. And you will see it in the results that you're getting from just a simple phone call conversation. So think about what your body posture is when that happens. How do you speak? How do you walk? How do you talk when you address peers, when you address people in higher power, or people that you perceive are in higher power? Because that's another discussion, right? With some people, we just think they have more power than us, and maybe they don't, but this is how we perceive it. We perceive them. It's all a matter of perception, right? So think about how that goes for you, and then try to notice it in the people that you work with. And especially when you are engaged in conversations with clients, or in conversations with your team where you're brainstorming. Now, if you have a culture, a team culture that allows people to contribute without thinking, oh my God, I'm exposed here and I'm going to be judged and I'm going to look ridiculous if I ask this question, so I better not ask it. Or do you have that culture where they feel like they can contribute, and it's easy to talk and it's easy to share? What is it that you want to create? And you can see that if you just notice a room of people talking, you can easily see what's going on there, because again, we communicate a lot without even saying anything. Now with virtual, that is a different level, but you also can notice when people are not really looking at the screen, or not really comfortable with being on video. Not because they can't in that moment, but because they typically don't feel comfortable. Or you can definitely notice when they are not engaged in the conversation, when they look down, when they don't pay attention, and all of those. The cues are still there. It's just for us to be able to read them and to decipher them again. So I really encourage you. And by the way, that's a photo of my son when he was, I think, 5. He was okay with me sharing this photo, so it's fine. But practice your power poses when you need them. So again, they go hand in hand with what you're going to think, just because you're shaking this energy and you're getting into a different kind of energy when you need it. So if you're feeling sad and low before an important meeting, an important conversation, before important meetings with your team, where you need to get a different kind of, to be in a different kind of energy and state of mind, so that you are able to brainstorm and connect with them differently, then what you can do is do some power poses. And you have the superhero, or you have this is such a wonderful power pose. And like, if you want and you're with me right now, you can do them and see how they make you feel. It's all about how they make you feel, and then the action that you want to take. Because if I go from here to here, then I'm ready for action. Let's do this. Let's try this. It's, see the different kind of energy that this gives you compared to this. I don't really want to do anything because I don't feel like doing anything. When I'm here, I feel like doing something, continuing to do something that makes me feel joyful or excited or enthusiastic. And by the way, this is the universal expression of joy or happiness. And there's a study that was done on athletes who were born blind. So they never saw anyone expressing joy like this. And what happened is, whenever they were winning a competition or a race, they were doing this. We universally express joy like this. And when I do this, even if I don't feel joyful, I will feel a little bit more joyful. So try your own power poses, see how they work for you, especially before important conversations, especially when you feel down and low, so that you get a different kind of energy and a different perspective. So I'm definitely gonna share more resources. You're getting the session handout, and Amy Cuddy's TED Talk that I mentioned, and also some recommended books and links. So just click the link in the description at the end of this live to make sure that they get delivered to your inbox. And then if you want more conversations and more development tools for next year for you, assessments, strategies, online courses, regular group coaching, brainstorming, networking, I'm happy to talk to you about the Lead for Legacy League. It's an awesome global online group program for management and leadership development. So if you're interested, message me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. And tomorrow, we are going to do breathing and diction exercises. And we're going to see why they help us, when they help us, and why they are important in getting ourselves prepared, especially before important meetings, important calls, important pitches. When we want to be more confident and we want to be more persuasive. So come back tomorrow. In the meantime, happy to answer any of your questions whenever you're catching this. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and see you next time.